Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and I had a subscriber ask a question. They basically wanted to know if I would make another video about no gainers and discuss how strong a no gainer could get purely through neural efficiency without gaining any muscle mass. And let me put on my +5 hat of weaponsmithing, do a little bit of crafting, and let's talk about this. Now, no gainers are a group that nobody seems to talk about. I'm the only person I know of on YouTube who's ever mentioned it, even though this is a documented phenomenon. Exercise science researchers know that 5 to 10% of the population cannot gain muscle mass. They cannot adapt to weight training or exercise in general. That exercise does a little bit for their health, but nowhere near as much as it does for other people. And these people their muscles don't respond or adapt to training. Meaning their stamina doesn't get much better from cardio as far as in their muscles do, just their cardiovascular system. Their muscles don't grow from weightlifting. They just exercise non-responders. And it's funny, that no one talks about this. And the cliff notes, basically no gainers are 5 to 10% of the population who can't gain muscle mass at all. They can gain a little bit of strength, but very, very little. They can gain a little bit of stamina, but not much else. Now, going further into it, the no gainer gets confused with the hard gainer a bit. And people always joke, like when when I made this first video, people were joking, saying that I was a no gainer, and it's like I can clearly bench press more than the empty bar and squat more than the empty bar. So I'm going to say I'm definitely not a no gainer. The no gainer is someone who literally, when they start training, if they bench press 55 pounds, if they really work hard for a year through learning the bar pattern better, they might be able to bench 65 pounds one day. It's just going to take them a while. And they'll probably peak at that point. So to answer the initial question, the no gainer will get a little stronger through neuromuscular efficiency, but that's about it. Meaning that's about the best they can expect to do. If they train really hard for a year under the best coaches in the world, their 55-pound bench press that they started with might turn into a 65-pound. And that's about all they're going to do. They're not going to look any different for it either, though. So what's the difference between a hard gainer and a no gainer? The hard gainer doesn't actually exist. And I've seen some people, you talk about the no gainer, they're like, well, I think I'm a no gainer, for whatever reason. I gain really slow, or I don't gain weight when I overeat. That's a dead giveaway that this person has a bad appetite, that they're not a no gainer. The no gainer will get fat. A no gainer would have no trouble bulking up to 200 or 300 pounds. It would just be 100% fat gain. They just won't gain any muscle while they do it. Meaning a no gainer just doesn't gain muscle mass. They gain fat just like every other person. So you put them on a bulking program and you put 50 pounds on them and put them again in a gym under the best coaches in the world, they will gain 50 pounds of solid lard with no muscle gain. Normal people, even with a terrible program, if they gain 50 pounds on the worst program in the world that at least has some weightlifting in it a few times a week, will at least gain a fair amount of muscle mass. The no gainer won't gain any even under a good coach. It'll all be fat gain, but they don't have a slow metabolism or anything like that, or a fast metabolism or anything to account for it. The hard gainer, on the other hand, is what you call an undereater. The hard gainer is someone who just struggles to get enough food in because they're either hyperactive, have inconsistent appetites, or usually they just have a lot of foods that they're picky about and they don't enjoy eating a lot. The hard gainer also usually believes that they eat huge amounts of food, but when you put them in a controlled environment where you can monitor and watch what they eat, they occasionally eat a really big meal and then they eat like a bird for the next 2 days after they do it. But they're convinced because they ate that 2,000 calorie meal one time that they eat a lot. When they don't realize a lot of big guys who carry a lot of body weight eat that same big meal that they ate 3 times a day every day. And there's your difference. They don't grasp that that one big meal every now and then doesn't actually put weight on you if your weekly calories aren't in a surplus. Because then they tend to undereat for a couple of days, and it makes it totally lose any extra weight they gain from it. Again, they're usually typified by poor appetite, either very physically active jobs or very hyperactive people, so that they burn a fair amount of calories through what we call NEAT, which is non-exercise induced activity, but they just don't eat enough in general. And accordingly, their scale doesn't go up. And that's the big difference. A hard gainer, you can always tell because it's someone who's convinced they eat a lot, but they stay skinny. The no gainer, when they start eating a lot, they just get really, really fat. The scale absolutely goes up, but their strength doesn't go up, their muscle mass doesn't go up, nothing else does. They just get a big gut with their arms and legs and everything not really getting bigger other than a little fat gain on them. And again, they don't get stronger. And a lot of people, when you tell them that, they're like, that must suck, that's terrible. And it's really funny that people have that attitude, because it goes to show you how shallow people can be in this community. And this is coming from someone who's competed in powerlifting, someone who runs a fitness and lifting channel, someone who considers weightlifting to be an integral part of my life. And I've seen it that way most of my adult life. I see weight training as one of the most important physical activities for health, fitness, everything else. I'm an advocate of it being promoted everywhere for everyone from teenagers up to the elderly, men, women, everyone. I'm a massive advocate of weightlifting. And even I look at that and go, no, it's not that bad. You know what? How do you know that they don't have other great things going on in their life? And I would also say to people that if you think the only thing in life that matters is the amount of muscle you're gaining, or that that's the single most important thing in life, that you don't have a well-rounded life yourself. They're not the sad ones here. Stop and think about that for a minute, guys. You know what? You're sitting there saying, oh, that would suck. Well, how do you know? Maybe they have some other gifts. You know what? We all have gifts. We all have advantages. We all have disadvantages. We all have things that we're good at just inherently, and we all have things that we're bad at. So they genetically can't gain muscle, but maybe they have an amazing artistic ability. Maybe they're an amazing musician, or they're really good at math, or they're really good at science in some way. Maybe they're going to go on to become a Nobel Prize winning biologist. You don't know. And in fact, often that is the case. A lot of the no-gainers are the people who become very bookish, oftentimes because they realize they don't respond to exercise at all. If they try to do sports even as a young kid, they realize they don't get stronger. They don't really get much faster. They don't improve very much from doing these things. And it's because their muscles do not adapt to training. They're that 5 to 10% of the population. And so accordingly, a lot of them lean away from physical attributes and they find other endeavors to pursue. Whether it's music and arts or math and science, they oftentimes find themselves drawn in other areas. And you know what? Many of them probably have made amazing contributions to society. I mean, really think about it. Think about the really nerdy guy who's terrible at sports growing up, who a lot of you guys knew, who went on to do something else with life. Them being really bad at that pushed them in more cerebral directions. So, that's just life. So it's not a bad thing. It's not a terrible thing. It just is what it is. They're just not going to adapt from weight training very much. But you know what? I would still encourage those people to weight lift. You know why? It'll still improve their bone density a little bit. It'll still improve their health markers a little bit. Not as much as other people. But at the end of the day, improving your insulin sensitivity a little, improving your bone density a little bit by working out once or twice a week is still worth doing, even if a person doesn't change their body composition in any way from it. The health benefits and the quality of life benefits of lifting weights is worth it even for these people, because those two things I just described help you fight osteoporosis, they help you fight diabetes, they help you fight cancer. Even if they don't help these people as much as it does other people because they under-respond to the training, it's still better than getting cancer. Still better than getting diabetes, even if it's a little bit of a reduction in those. Those are terrible diseases. And again, it's back to my point, everyone focuses on certain aspects of fitness, at least in the online world, without thinking of the facts of what else does this stuff have to offer. What are the other health benefits to weightlifting? Can they improve my quality of life going on into my middle age, my old age? Can I live longer, be happier, and be healthier as a result of this weightlifting? And the reality is you can, and so can everyone else. And ultimately, people get too hung up on their body composition or their muscle mass being the single most important goal in life. Be a little more well-rounded, guys. There's more to life than the gym. There's more to life than lifting weights. And this is coming from someone who loves lifting weights. I absolutely love lifting heavy ass weight. I enjoy it. I plan on doing it the rest of my life until the day that I die. Until maybe I'm thrown into a nursing home one day where they keep me away from and lock me away from some weights. But barring that, I have no intention of ever stopping. I like lifting, and I think most of you do too, or you wouldn't be on a channel like this. But you need to remember there's more to life than that. And to look at these guys and say, well, they have one genetic issue that prevents them from achieving a goal you might want or might think is important. But you know what? That's not the end of the world. There's other things they can do in life that make them happy. And that's the thing that people forget with all of this in this fitness world sometimes. We always forget that. Different people have different aspirations in life. Different people achieve meaning with their life through different ways. And just because one person does it one way doesn't mean someone else can't do it another. And think about that for a minute. A lot of you guys love working out, but there are tons of people you respect out there who aren't in shape, who don't work out. You might have a favorite musician or artist or actor or, even a scientist that you tremendously respect who doesn't work out. They don't even lift, bro. But you still appreciate their contribution to the world. So think about that for a minute. When people start in with this, oh, that would suck. These guys, it suck. I mean, I would kill myself. I've heard guys say that I would kill myself if I was a no-gainer. Really? Seriously, guys? Come on. Not the end of the world. You need to learn to have a little more sense and be a little more well-rounded. The gym is not your entire life. And if it is and you're not making a living doing it, you really need to step back and ask what you're doing with your life, guys. Because there's definitely more to life than the gym. And you know what? No gainers are people also. And at the end of the day, I could still see merits and benefits to them doing a little bit of weightlifting just for their health. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.